Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show on Monday.
Yes, it's the... Okay.
The great start.
Yeah. I was trying to say there's only two more... Monday shows of the year. We got next
after
Monday.
This, yeah.
And then we'll have the Monday after state, and then we're dark. And so it's not the penultimate. It's like the whatever is third to last.
Don't think there's a word for that.
Hi, everybody.
And if there is, there shouldn't be.
Great point. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the pre-show for the free show. I'm Greg. That's Ashley. How was your weekend? Let's do a weekend check. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just scheduling some football games.
Yeah. I took my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and my wife, and our oldest son, Hank, to the Star in Frisco for Highland Park and Frisco Lone Star. Great game. A lot of fun. Highland Park gets the win. Saw Carter Yates working. I don't know if you're how familiar you are with the Star.
Very.
Okay.
I basically live there, it feels like.
I have a new life goal. I think I'm going to file this under professional goal because it's probably the best way it's going to happen. So we're sitting up there watching Lone Star Highland Park. We're in the upper deck on one of the sides, doesn't matter. And on the visitor side, it turns out. And up next to us, we look over there, and there is like a suite. Mm-hmm. There is it's like glassed in.
Oh, yeah.
And there were people having like a Christmas party there and watching Highland Park and Frisco Lone Star.
Yeah, that's how you know it's holiday season.
There was like a tree in there, and they were enjoying some beverages and stuff like that. Pickle, why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we in that suite?
Because we're usually working.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying that you want to talk about a Christmas party. Here's my question. What was stopping us from going to Joaquin and Honeygrove on Thursday at the Star and being in that super swanky suite at the Star? There's
got to be some legality issue here.
What? What could possibly be wrong with that?
Well, if we were to cover the game.
I'm saying we wouldn't cover it. I'm saying I'm saying we have our Christmas party there. Right?
Yeah.
What is more on brand for us than to go watch Joaquin and Honeygrove in the swankiest way possible? What is more on brand than that?
I feel like the point of a company Christmas party is to have fun and remove yourself from work. That kind of seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, but I would have loved to watch Joaquin and Honeygrove.
Well, yes.
Would have been fun. Yeah.
But nothing like that.
So one more.
That feels like a cheapo route to. I mean, it wouldn't be cheap by any stretch of the means, but it feels like a cheapo route to a holiday party.
One more story from the weekend. Because you went to a casino.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So Saturday was the boys' birthday party. Because if you remember, Hank and Max, December 3rd and December 5th, respectively, is their birthdays. And so we had joint birthday party. Turning 6 and 3, we figure it's probably the last time we can get away with having a joint birthday party. Hank is probably going to call ISO starting next year, right? At 7.
I don't know. My brother and I had joint birthday parties literally for ever.
Well, you had good parents.
Yeah.
These kids are working with one good parent. And I think you could figure out which of the ones it is. Mm-hmm. So we had a birthday party. Great time. Good turnout. Didn't open presents at the place. We brought them home, and we were opening presents. Now, you've met Max. Mm-hmm. You're a big Max fan.
Yeah. Full send Max.
Full send Max. So Hank has a buddy. I think you've heard me mention Rian. Mm-hmm. Rian's one of his best friends.
I think I've seen Rian play baseball.
You have seen Rian play baseball. So Rian's and Rian has two older brothers, but they were very sweet to bring Max a gift as well, which I thought was super cool. They didn't need to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Max opens it up. An electronic drum kit.
Oh no. Oh, that's rough. What did you do to make Rayon mad?
I don't know.
Or
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what I did.
Rayon's parents.
Rayon's parents. I feel like I've always been nice, and yet, this is the thanks that I get.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
So.
Does Max like it?
Pickle, I respect and honor you. That's the dumbest question you've ever asked.
That's fair.
Of course he likes it. He thinks it's the greatest thing. Anyway, happy weekend. Hit the theme, Expo. Yes, y'all. From the new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a program with a lot to talk about. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of those places, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I've got a chair over here behind this desk, in a different chair, in a different room, at a different desk, in front of a different computer.
Yes.
It's the executive producer of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Dave Campbell's Texan Live. They call her Miss 305. Dale Ashley Pickle.
Dale. Hi, friends. Happy Monday.
I told you about my friend who works for the Indianapolis Colts, who is the biggest Pitbull fan that I know.
That feels like a challenge.
I know. So she put out her Spotify Wrapped, and she was like 0.01% of Pitbull.
I need to go back and look at mine. I
check.
think I was better.
Okay. I want you and her to meet and just but you two are.
Has she seen Pitbull 7 times in concert?
That's a great question. I'll ask her. I'll text her.
I have a
But she's like the mascot coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, which is a cool job too.
Yeah.
Anyway, today is Monday, December 9th, 2024, 353 days till Thanksgiving. Happy belated birthday. You know whose birthday was yesterday? Happy belated birthday.
I do. Aaron Hardigan.
To our friend Aaron Hardigan. Aaron Hardigan turned 24 yesterday. Happy birthday to Aaron Hardigan for her birthday yesterday. It's episode 1820. On today's
22.
show, what was it?
22.
No, that's what I said. On today's show, folks. Big show. Got Monday Morning Fallout. Going to overreact to football weekend. The final episode of Monday Morning Fallout. We don't have Monday Morning Fallout next week. This is the last one until August. Cherish it. We'll overreact to football weekend. Then we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Oakwood Panthers. Coach J.J. Johnson's going to join us. Oakwood is one of 4 teams that has already clinched a spot at the state championship games. Oakwood beat Oglesby 54-51 in a 6-man thriller to clinch a spot in the 1A Division II state championship game. Oakwood was 2-5 this season and is now playing in a state championship game. We will talk with the head coach of the Oakwood Panthers, Coach J.J. Johnson, coming up. Then, the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. Big games, big plays on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. We will then have This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. The biggest news from across the state of Texas coming off of the early signing period. And finally, we'll round it all out with Final Thoughts and Mailbag Monday. So get those questions on Facebook and YouTube if it so suits you. So, pot right?
No.
Pickle, I was going to ask you, do we have first four through the door?
Yes, and it's a big one.
Okay, here's your first.
I'm going to save the third person for last because...
okay, so you are being intellectually dishonest here.
No.
It's not first four. You're not ranking.
TJ Hudson.
Okay. I like TJ.
BJWB.
Love it.
Jersey number 69.
Hell yeah.
And a name that I have not been able to say in literally forever. Meese is back.
Oh my gosh.
Misael Romero, welcome
Misael.
back, friend.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Hello, friends.
How cool is that?
Good,
We're back.
Okay. We are back.
See why I saved it?
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I value all of our viewers, but it seems like you don't. Or you value them differently. Anyway. Okay, now, pot right?
Yeah.
Wheel them around. Pickle! Hit the air raid siren. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout. When we overreact to the football weekend, it's the final episode of Monday Morning Fallout for the 2024 season, and we've got a few things to get to. Start with my opening kick. Opening kick, one last beautiful disaster. So now that we're in the state semifinals, there's not really any surprises left. Like, all of these teams are 48 minutes away from playing in a state championship game. And so really the regional finals is kind of your last opportunity for things to go a little bit crazy town banana pants. And sure did. Sure took that opportunity. I think you had a number of brackets that got completely and totally turned upside down by results this weekend. Some of the games we saw coming, we knew were going to be big. Port Neches Groves and South Oak Cliff, I think, qualifies as a surprise, not because South Oak Cliff won. I think that it was, I think Stepp and I were split on it. And I think that it was considered to be, it wouldn't have been a surprise if South Oak Cliff won. But the manner in which they won, to hang a 50 burger on Port Neches Groves, it felt like they were taking out some frustration. And it felt like they were relishing the opportunity to get another crack at the team that won the state championship last year. So we will have a new champion in 5A Division 2. We'll have a new champion in 5A Division 1. As Denton Ryan, they did it. Mm-hmm. They did the thing. They finally did the thing. It's important to set the context here. Go back to 2 realignments ago. When Aledo and Denton Ryan, Aledo makes the move up to 5A Division 1, they get put into a district with Denton Ryan. And that was the time that all of us said, man, this is the opportunity for Aledo, for some team to finally get Aledo, to finally match up with them, and finally in that long district winning streak, finally a big challenge for them. And to be clear, Ryan came close a couple of times, but never could dethrone Aledo. And then they just kind of did it. And it wasn't fancy. It was just Ryan football played over the course of 48 minutes. I think if you go ask, I was calling Seth Hennigan, now I almost call him Quinn Hennigan, Dave Hennigan, about their games against Aledo, he would say, we just didn't play 48 minutes. Maybe we played 40 minutes. Maybe we played 38 minutes of good Ryan football. They were not able to string together 48 minutes, and that's what it takes to beat a team like Aledo. They finally strung together 48 minutes. And they dethrone Aledo. We'll have a new champion in 5A Division 2. We'll have a new champion in 6A Division 2. Mm-hmm. As Longview dethrones DeSoto in emphatic fashion and hangs a 50 burger on them. That was, for my money, the most shocking result of the weekend. Not because Longview beating DeSoto is some sort of like unfathomable result. But again, the manner in which it happened. The manner in which Longview just lined up in 12 personnel and 21 personnel and ran the damn ball at DeSoto over and over and over. And the defense came up with big play after big play. And they did what basically nobody's been able to do all year, which is to make DeSoto chase. To put DeSoto in a position where they have to press. They have to play from behind. Willis did it a little bit, but then it felt like the dam broke for Willis, and then it suddenly wasn't happening anymore. Longview kept punching and scored a TKO over the two-time defending 6A Division II state champs. Absolutely remarkable. It was a wild week. There were 12 rematches. 5 of them got reversed. Okay? You had Brock, who lost 38-0 to Graham.
Mm-hmm.
38-0. That is not a fluky win. Hand him a receipt, 12-10 in 3 overtimes. What? I want you to consider this. Brock played Graham twice this year. Brock scored 12 points against Graham in 2 games, and they're into the state semifinals. Absolutely remarkable. There's other things to talk about. It is a wild, wild weekend of Texas high school football, but we did have one last absolute chaos factory to send 2024 out in style. Let's go to the game of the week. A lot of choices here. I went with Richmond Randall 21, Iowa Colony 14 in overtime. This was another game that was a rematch. You remember Randall beat Iowa Colony 30-10 in district play.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to give Iowa Colony a ton of credit. I think that they figured things out defensively. They were able to really bottle up Landon Williams-Callis and keep this game close. This game was 14-14 at half and then 14-14 at the end of regulation. These were 2 defenses that dominated all game long. But in the end, it goes to overtime. Randall scores on 3rd down in overtime. And then the defense stands on its head and comes up with the big play when they need it most, a sack, fumble, and pick it up and come up with the win. Randall's through to their first ever state semifinal in remarkable fashion, 21-14. It was the game of the week. It was also the last game of the week, which helped because all eyes were on it. A spectacular ball game between Randall and Iowa Colony. It's my game of the week, but a lot of choices there. Time for my play of the week. We're going back to NRG Stadium. Okay, back to NRG Stadium. Angleton and LaPorte, another rematch. This one did go the other way as Angleton came back and beat LaPorte. But LaPorte led for long stretches of this game until early in the 4th quarter when Angleton, not known all that much, they're a running-based team for the most part, takes to the air, and wide receiver Wesley Jackson comes up with an acrobatic catch to come up with a game-tying score. Here's my play of the week.
Stroke. 2nd and 10. Fake to Shockley. Duran throws corner. Jackson! Touchdown, Angleton! Wesley Jackson, the star of the drive, puts Angleton within 2 of a tie.
Spectacular catch to draw Angleton within 2. They get the 2-point conversion, end up winning that game 24-21. And another fantastic game. This was a great Saturday doubleheader there at NRG Stadium.
Great call by Chase Snyder as well.
It's time for my Dudes Rock Dude of the Week. We talked about him, but Longview running back Boosie Washington.
He was off the charts in this game.
We had John King on High School Scoreboard Live, and of course, always very good to have John King on. Good quality content. And I asked him about Boosie Washington, and I said, you've had a lot of really good running backs in your day at Longview. What is it about Boosie Washington that makes him special? And he's talked about how complete he is. And you look at the numbers, okay? 32 carries, 298 yards, and 5 touchdowns against DeSoto. They just played bully ball. And they just said, we're going to make you find an answer. And what's really interesting, you go back to the idea of making DeSoto chase. DeSoto, I think, they needed their best player, in my opinion, this is a hot take, their best player is Tiger Wrighton. Their most important player, I think. And Tiger Wrighton still got hits. He still ran for 95 yards. But they were able to force them into a situation where they couldn't just hand the ball off to Tiger Wright over and over. Longview got ahead, and they turned to their Mr. Texas football finalist and said, take us home, Boosie. And he delivered. Someone's got to find an answer for Boosie Washington at some point. And I'm not sure who's out there that's going to do it.
Mm-mm.
Now it's time for the NFL Minute. Another week of the NFL is come and gone. It's the final NFL Minute of the year. But we asked, we got in touch with our chief NFL correspondent, my mom, to file this report. Here is the NFL Minute with my mom.
Hi, this is Tep Mom reporting the NFL Minute for this week. I'm highlighting the Pittsburgh Steelers win over the Browns. These Steelers also played Texas high school football. Offensive tackle Dan Moore went to Beaumont Westbrook and A&M. Center Ryan McCullum went to Klein Oak High School and A&M. Linebacker Elandon Roberts went to Port Arthur Memorial and Rice. Defensive end DeMarvin Lill went to Converse Judson and A&M. And finally, kicker Chris Boswell went to Keller, Fossil Ridge, and Rice. That's it for this week. See you later. Bye.
Thanks, Mom, for that courageous report. You know, it takes a lot of courage to file those reports, I think.
It's a lot of research.
A lot of work, grinding tape.
She crushed it all year long.
The NFL Minute. Stock up, Joaquin. What the hell?
Y'all are supposed to be here.
Guys, Joaquin finished 4th in their district.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 4th. They were the 4th place team. That means they played a district champion in Centerville in week 1.
But too many teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a tough scene for them. And yet they go out there and they beat Honeygrove this week in emphatic fashion, by the way, to clinch a spot in the state semifinals. Guys, Joaquin, this is true. So I have the computers pulled up right here. Okay, the computer rankings and all the fun stuff. And you may remember we have computer projections for every game. They have been an underdog. Okay, they have been projected to lose each of their last 6 games.
That goes all the way back to the regular season.
Shelbyville in week 10, they were supposed to lose. They won. By the way, they lose that game. They're not in the playoffs. Supposed to lose Shelbyville. Supposed to lose to Garrison. They did in week 11. Supposed to lose to Centerville. They didn't. They won. Supposed to lose to Cooper. They lost. They won. Supposed to lose to Shelbyville again. They won. Supposed to lose to Honeygrove. They won. By the way, they're supposed to lose to Ganado this week.
We'll see.
Unbelievable what Jared Jones is doing down there at Joaquin. In his first season at the helm, promoted from offensive coordinator. Like a 4th place team is in the state semifinals, guys. And it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. In case you missed it of the week, Bremond 45, Grapeland 14. So we wondered in 2A Division II Region 3, when Mart went out, who was going to be the team that stepped up and took the reins. And it ends up being Bremond. But the reason I want to highlight this, okay? Remember, this is a rematch, right, of a non-district game back in week 2. And Grapeland won 44-32. So they were a 12-point. They beat them by 12. And then Bremond turned around, I guess 13 weeks later and beat them by 31. Okay? And by the way, about Bremond, freshman quarterback Sam Kozowski, junior running back Terrence Scott, junior wide receiver Tristan Moorhead, freshman linebacker Caden Scott. Babies. Tiny infants out there in the state semifinal. Keep an eye on those Bremond Tigers. It's time for the final rendition of the Matt Stepp, He Got That Dog in Him, Player of the Week.
And now, the Matt Stepp, He Got That Dog in Him, Player of the Week.
Hey y'all, Matt Stepp with Dave Campbell's Texas Football. It's Monday morning, I'm at my day job, but it's time to bring you the regional final edition of the Matt Step, He Got That Dog an Award. And the winner of this week's Matt Step, He Got That Dog an Award, is none other than Malakoff quarterback, defensive back, do-it-all guy. Who? Mike Jones. In Friday night's 35-0 win over Texarkana Liberty Ilo, Mike Jones ran for a touchdown, threw for over 175 yards, and helped the defense pitch a shutout against one of the most explosive offenses in the state of Texas. Congrats, Mike. You, sir, have got that dog in you.
This has been the Matt Step He Got That Dog in Him Player of the Week.
Thank you, Matthew.
I wish more than anything that someone would have walked in his day job and seen him doing that.
Yeah.
What a weirdo.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you whispering into your camera?
Yeah. What is have that dog in him? Who is Malakoff?
Where's Malakoff? What?
You're referencing a 90s rapper?
Like, what's going on? Anyway, time for my final shot. It's the same final shot I've had for like 10 years. This time.
I knew this was going to be a thing that I typed out at some point today.
Kind of things that I didn't have to script. The cruelest round. I have determined. I think I've determined as I've gotten older that I hate this round.
Yeah.
I think I hate the semifinals.
It doesn't necessarily make the heart feel great.
Because you've got these 40 teams this week who are all alive. And all of them are 48 minutes away from playing in a state championship game. And for half of them, it's going to go great. And they're going to live their dream, and they will make plans for Arlington, and everything is going to go according to everything they've ever wanted. And all of that work will feel like it was worth it because you get to play at AT&T Stadium. You get to play in the state championship game. And as we've said before, even if you go and you get your doors blown off at the state championship game, you are remembered forever. You made it there. You are etched in history. There's also 20 others who are going to come so agonizingly close that they can see it. They can smell it. They can start looking at hotel rooms in Arlington. And it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And they're going to get the rug pulled out from underneath them at the last worst moment. And that sucks. There's just no two ways around it. I really do believe this. I think it's better to get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. And it is less painful to get blown out in the first round of the playoffs than it is to lose in the semifinals. Mm-hmm. Like, these teams have accomplished a ton. That says nothing about all the things that they've done up to this point. But as far as a pain level is concerned, this is the most painful week. And we'll punch 20 more tickets to AT&T Stadium this weekend in the semifinals. And it's going to be great, and it's going to be terrible. And it truly is the cruelest round of the playoffs. It's my final shot, and that's Monday Morning Fallout. For 2024, we're done. That's it. We're Texas Football today. We're Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hope you'll go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Watch state semifinal games this weekend on Texan Live by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Coming up here in just a moment, there are 4 teams that have already punched their ticket to AT&T Stadium. One of them, perhaps the most unlikely of them, the Oakwood Panthers. We'll talk with head coach J.J. Johnson after the break.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10, touchdown!
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wings drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley, and Pickle, let's go to the hotline. Let's go to Leon County. Talk with the head coach of the state championship-bound Oakwood Panthers, Coach J.J. Johnson. Coach, how are you?
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing fantastic. How are things down there in Oakwood?
It's lively right now. I think everybody's riding a high from last week.
And certainly, you guys go off there and knock off a team that played in the state championship last year, has been rolling the Oglesby Tigers. I want to go back to October 11th. You guys come up short to Bryan Christian Homeschool, and you fall to 2-5 on the season. After that, you guys have forgotten how to lose. What has changed since then that has you guys in the state championship now?
I think at that time, we had some crucial conversation. I think we had as a coaching staff, we went in and made a bunch of adjustments, and I pulled some kids in the office and talked to them. And, hey, we want to have some things got to change, and we moved some personnel, some guys around, and say, hey, we need you in this position. And I think it wasn't ideal for them. I don't know, but they kind of took the responsibility and took accountability for it. And they know as a team that's what we need to do. And I think we've done those adjustments, and we've been kind of rolling.
I would say you guys have been rolling. You guys, especially the past 2 weeks, over Iredell and Oglesby, two state-ranked ball clubs, favorites to play for and perhaps win state championships. I'm curious what your message to your guys was going into those two games, knowing, honestly, you guys are probably underdogs in those games. What was your message to your guys heading into those two ball games?
It's kind of what we've been talking about all year long, probably since the Brazos Valley game, is that we got to have a tough mentality. We got to play hard. We got to be physical. And I think we just got to forget, we told them district what counts. Now everything counts now. And so, and going into those games, I said, y'all are afterthought. Everybody underestimate y'all. We got the talent to win. And I've been preaching that since day one, that we got the guys in this room to win a state championship or compete for a state championship. And I think they took that to heart.
Talking with J.J. Johnson, the head coach of the Oakwood Panthers here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, a lot of stars to talk about on this team. I want to start with the guy who's taking the snaps for you in Dayton Velasquez, a guy who's stepped up in a big way. What has he done for this team? What is it about him that makes him special?
He's a big time baseball player, so he has a big arm. I think a lot of it is ability. He can maneuver around different situations, kind of make thing happen on the fly. In six man, it's kind of about sometimes the broken plays are the best plays, and I think he does it. He plays really good defense for. Even though he's our quarterback, he's our safety, and he plays really good defense. But he just, just a hard nosed kid, tough nosed kid, and that's. He doesn't mind doing whatever it takes to get the job done.
He's, of course, just a sophomore for you guys. There's another guy that jumps off the page in Gavin Wilbanks, a guy who is one of the few seniors on this ball club, but obviously making his impact felt. How important is Gavin Wilbanks to what you guys have been able to do?
He's big offensive as well as defensive. I think offensive, one of the changes we made is Darion Thomas was big for us last year, and we kind of put him back to the tight end position and told Wilbanks he's gonna choke the rock for us, and he's been big. And of course, he's a defensive stopper. That kid, he'll run through a brick wall for you. And just tell him what you need done, and he does it.
Coach, this is a small town down there, for those who don't know, down there in Leon County, a population under 400. It's the first time since 1991 they're making a state championship game, and that was when they played in 11-man. It's the first 6-man state championship. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in the town right now and how excited folks are around Oakwood these days?
I think the excitement is buzzing, because I think in 1991, that's when I was in high school. And so, to wait that long to play for a state championship, in football is awesome. But, the community has been great, whether it's the school board, the staff, Everybody's pitching in. What can we do to help? But it's always, everybody's here. Everybody's family. And so I think that's the big thing. I know, I think one of the broadcasts, somebody wanted to talk to some kids, and what he said, but so many of the fans on the field, just rejoicing and hugging everyone because everybody's excited. It's just the buzz around the community right now.
It's remarkable, and of course there's bigger things to play for. You guys are going to play in the state championship game. It's going to kick things off 11 a.m. next Wednesday. There, I'm curious before we get to Jayton, just how do you handle what's going to end up being a bit of a long layoff? About it, we call it like the Super Bowl week. You guys get a whole kind of 10 days off. How do you handle the scheduling here, knowing that things are different here in this final game of the year?
Well, that's one of the big things I think we talked about as a staff yesterday in our meeting, and I talked to the kids today. We kind of slow playing a lot, a lot of film, a lot of, formation and reg, just kind of slowing it down a little bit in our normal week. So, we don't want to build it up real quick, and that's, it's a letdown for next week because I hate the 10 days layoff, but I know it goes with the occasion. But we just kind of slowing it down a little bit, kind of dialing it down a little bit, just kind of trying to slow. They're all excited, but we're trying to slow the pace down a little bit.
Final question for J.J. Johnson, the head coach of the Oakwood Panthers here on Texas Football Today. Coach, when you get there to AT&T Stadium, you will be greeted by the number one team in the state. The Jayton Jaybirds await you for a state championship. I know you've already been digging into film, getting used to. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan, but when you take a look at Jayton, I'm curious what you see.
They're the first thing that jumps off, they're very physical. Fast to the ball, quick. It's no holes. From 1 through 6, when they're on the field, you don't see any weaknesses. And so you got to play to be at the top of your game to beat those guys. And I think Coach Stanton does an awesome job with those guys over there. So that's the first thing that jumps off to me is the physicality of them. They're very physical.
He's J.J. Johnson. He's the head coach of the state championship-bound Oakwood Panthers. Coach, we so appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all the success, and we'll see you in Arlington next week.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There he goes, J.J. Johnson, head coach of the Oakwood Panthers, a 5-loss state finalist. They were 2-5, Pickle.
That was one of the questions. Remember, had a team with more than 3 losses ever make it to the state championship? There's one.
Here's one. In their first ever 6-man state championship game, Oakwood lost to Memphis in the 1991 Class A state championship. That's their only trip there. And this is, Pickle, this is the kind of stuff that warms your heart as small town Pickle. According to the 2020 census, Oakwood had a population of 389.
Heck yeah.
Okay, 389. This is a program with an enrollment. I have this here. Hold on. An enrollment. Where are you? This is going great. Oh, I've got too many tabs open. It's a problem. Oakwood. There you are. Oakwood has an enrollment of 55. Whole damn school. 55. And they are going to be playing at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Okay? They're going to be going from playing, I think they played at Robinson, and now they will play at AT&T Stadium. Yeah, they'll have their hands full. Jayton's a good ball club, but exciting times down there in Oakwood. We're thrilled to see them in there. And new blood. Like, it's exciting. These are 2 new finalists in 1A Division 2. And that's pretty, that can be rare sometimes. So really excited to see them at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. We appreciate J.J. Johnson spending a little bit of his time with us. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Again, TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Okay, so, Pickle, it's now time to roll out the regional final edition of the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. Trevor Bullard got in the lab, watched all the games on Dave Campbell's Texan Live, charted all the plays, charted all the games, just relentless. He came up with the Top 10 Plays of the Week. Here it is, the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week.
Do a reverse. Monaghan has no one to throw to. He's going to throw it anyway. That ball's going to be picked off. It's tipped and caught, and that's Jones. And he's inside the 5, and that's a pick 6. Brandon Jones his 10th interception of the season.
State championship winning quarterback from Lufkin. Kopecky taking a deep shot. Got a man open. Caught in stride. Big play for Sock again. Touchdown, Golden Bears.
Brooks looking left. Trying to find some space. Escapes to the right side. Throws it downfield into the end zone. Touchdown.
But if you don't get anything here, I think you're going for it.
Shockley with a great block pass. Caught! What a catch! Wesley Jackson inbounds down at the 17, and I think that would have been good here on Sundays.
30 yards. Russell looking, stepping up in the pocket. Throws over the middle, diving. Catch by Trenton Yancey.
Had to defeat 3 straight Frisco schools to get to their next week date.
Nice jet sweep. Can he take it to the house? Braden Mussett rallying the troops all the way to the end zone.
North Shore on the move. This drive started back on their 1. And Bailey with a pump fake. Far sideline. Oh, what a catch. That was hauled in. And it was Dion DeBlanc at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, on the 4, 3. Here's the snap. Dida looking. Dida tucks. Dida still looking. Fires to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Patrick Colby. 7 yards.
It's true. 2nd and 10. Fake to Shockley. Durant throws corner. Jackson! Touchdown, Angleton! Wesley Jackson, the star of the drive, puts Angleton within 2 of a tie.
Go for it on 4th down. Trips to the near side. Cody's going to rush out down here. Look at, he's got Nolan White, a wide open deep. Nolan caught. Will he be in? He is. Touchdown Texans, 41 yards. Just throw it.
There it is. The Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. You can find those on our YouTube channel as well. And we'll have more semifinal coverage across the state of Texas on Dave Campbell's Texan Live this week. I was going to say something mean, but I'm not going to. One game we didn't mention. I want to make sure we bring it up. Pickle, I want to extend my condolences
Okay.
to the Llano Yellow Jackets. Fought hard.
There's no need to talk about this.
Fought hard. Great year for Matt Green's ball club.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were a little sad.
Word on the street is that team was a year early. They didn't expect to be there, and they've got some. Most of them are sophomore, junior level. The skill guys. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, because we were
2025.
Because we were talking last year. Last year it was the kind of thing like they graduated kind of heavy, like key guys, like the last Kirkendall, right?
Yep.
Left.
Well, yeah, the last boy Kirkendall.
The last boy Kirkendall, yeah. I'm sure they've got some like stud basketball player. But volleyball, okay.
Girl, yeah.
Track. Yeah. But we were talking about how it was like, okay, it might be a little bit of a reload there. Well, they've reloaded in a hurry, but Edna, a little too tough. I'm sorry, Pickle.
Yeah, it happens.
Do you know what that means? That means that your team was the last team standing.
Hell yeah, brother.
In the Dave Campbell's Texas football crew. One guy who's always standing, except when he's sitting, is Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Hi, Greg.
What's up?
Are either standing or sitting. Sometimes laying down.
That's probably the only 2 states that you see me in.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you laying down or like levitating.
Yeah.
Hi.
What's up?
How are you? Have you recovered from early signing day?
Yeah, man. I thought signing day was awesome this year. It was one of the best signing days I feel like that we had, and today transfer portal was like popping off. So we'll see. There's a lot of top prospects, former top prospects that played Texas high school football that have now entered their name into the portal to continue their college football journey.
There's a lot to talk about, and so we probably should say, I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Cruton. This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, deck the halls with boughs of tendies.
Nice.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah, I mean,
let's go to our chief Christmas correspondent and make sure we get the sign off on that.
That was good.
Pretty good. Thank you.
There's enough said. Like, you can't even. I had some good chicken wing stuff to talk about, but I mean, you win.
If you got a stocking full of like wings,
yeah,
like Chicken Express wings.
Mallory and I were leaving our game in Denison on Friday, and like a beacon in the night, a Chicken Express 18-wheeler with the bird on the side of it drove by, and Mallory was driving, and I was sitting in the seat, and I was like, "Follow that truck!"
I just love the idea of you guys just being like, God? And then like a truck.
Yes, a
You're
truck of chicken.
Well, I can tell you now.
Yeah.
Now that Pickle and Mallory have had a coming home from a game sighting of the Chicken Express 18-wheeler, that is the third Chicken Express sighting this season of an 18-wheeler coming home from a Texas high school football game from DCTF staff, because it's happened to me twice.
Nice.
Maybe they're out at that time because that's too eerie.
That feels like guerrilla marketing. They're just like, guys, we need to, like, our target audience is people who are driving home from high school football games. We need to get these 18-wheelers out on the highway.
Where'd you guys go? Where'd you guys go for the game?
Denison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Munster Collinsville.
That was
Munster Collinsville.
I was south for both of mine. One was in Mansfield and one was in Palestine. So whenever I was coming back from those two games,
they've got it covered.
Yeah, they've got it covered statewide.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise is Wolford Friendship senior defensive back Bryce Garza. We're going to be talking a lot about players who did sign. Bryce Garza is a guy who did not sign in the early signing period. And he feels like a guy who is going to be, a lot of teams are going to be hot after because he's available. To wit, he picked up a pair of new offers from North Texas and Texas State in the past week to go along with places like Louisiana Tech, Sam Houston. With the early signing period now out and maybe some programs that need one more quality defensive back, feels like Bryce Garza is going to be a name we're talking about.
Yeah, and it's interesting in this cycle, too, because I feel like some of these G5 programs have saved back their, some of their scholarships for this time period. The numbers didn't really correlate so much as that there's more unsigned talent, but I feel like there's better unsigned talent right now from the early signing period now going into the February 5th National Signing Day, which is your traditional National Signing Day. And Garza is going to be one of these guys that I think plenty of people come after. One, he's 6'3", 185. Look at him playing corner.
Yeah.
That's rare. That's rare to find a guy that has such a long frame to be able to lock down guys on the island in such a manner that Garza has been doing. And he's very athletic. So it's watching this tape, it's cool to see that he's getting these opportunities, but it's also easy to see why Sam Houston and Louisiana Tech were after him. And those two schools are probably like bummed, right, that they weren't able to close him out and get him to sign in the early period. And now more schools are coming after him.
He is he's a stud, and he's a guy that I think because of just the availability here, it's going to be really interesting to see where Bryce Garza ends up landing there. He is our prospect on the rise. Let's continue with our commit of the week. Obviously, a lot of commits on early
signings.
But the biggest one probably came down from the San Antonio area, where Alamo Heights athlete Michael Terry III pulled the trigger, committed to Texas over places like Nebraska and Oregon, signed the national letter of intent, and helped Texas grab that #1 national ranking in the recruiting rankings. And Michael Terry, we've talked about him for quite some time. Just a playmaking dude and a class maker here for Texas.
Yeah, it went all the way down to the wire for Michael Terry, and then he picked Texas in the early signing period. That actually pushed Texas up to #1 nationally, and it held on to the #1 ranking because it closed so strong, especially picking up 5-star defensive lineman Justice Terry. Not 100% sure. I wasn't 100% sure going into that day that I thought Texas was going to get Justice Terry, and Michael Terry was hotly contested between Oregon and Nebraska. I mean, that was one that went all the way down to the wire, I really kind of thought like, hey, there's a chance that Nebraska might be able to close this thing out and pair Michael Terry up with Dylan Raiola for, maybe their like big combination on offense. That was their pitch to him. But Texas, closer to home, did a tremendous job in this recruitment and gives the Longhorns one of the most versatile playmakers in the state. He had offers to play wide receiver, running back, tight end, safety, linebacker, and defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Terry could literally do anything he wants to on a football field.
He can. He is a playmaking dude, and he is heading to Austin to play for the Texas Longhorns. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's round it all out with our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week, staying in the San Antonio area, talk about Cibolo Steel running back Jonathan Hatton. Finished up his junior season. He finished his season committed to Oklahoma. He is no longer committed to Oklahoma, decommitted from there, and has since picked up offers from Oklahoma State and Michigan State. He's now got 24 offers. It would be easier for me to list the big-time programs that haven't offered him. And now that he's back on the market, he is going to be a coveted name.
Yeah, big-time dude here at Cibolo Steel. I guess he's probably the most... Caden Stearns is the highest-rated player probably ever from Cibolo Steel. Number 2 on that list is probably Malcolm Brown. Mm-hmm. And I think Steel fans can probably draw the comparison between Brown and Hatton, except for I think Hatton's faster.
Okay.
I think Hatton's faster than him. And next year's crop of running backs is extremely deep. We've got all types and all sizes of running backs in the state. There are an abundance of these guys. But if you're looking for the guy that's like in the middle of the field, tough, gritty warrior type, Hatton is the one that checks that box. So it's no surprise to see that he has scholarship offers from all over the country, including, Texas A&M and et cetera, et cetera. He's got everybody, USC, Ohio State, Alabama. They all came after him. So huge loss for OU. He decommitted in that flux of what they were having with the offensive staff changes there. I know he has a really close relationship with DeMarco Murray, who I believe is retained at this point, but we'll see what the coaching shuffle brings and then kind of see who stands at the top for Hatton after that.
Yeah, now that he's decommitted from Oklahoma, he is back on the market, and it will be really interesting to see where he lands. I thought that the signing day special with you and Mallory Hartley was really good.
Well, appreciate that. Me, Mallory Hartley, produced by Ashley Pickle, and then the Ball Talking Zone, the BTZ, featuring Greg Tepper and Carter Yates. That was a great addition to the signing day show this year.
You know what the people
It was how about this? It was a fun edition.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. It was an entertaining edition. The Ball Talking Zone. It was a fun time, and obviously a lot of headlines kind of across the state that we talked about. Go back and watch it. It's on our YouTube channel as well. But I thought it went really well, and I also think that you saw that the big headlines coming out of the week were Texas closing strong. A&M picked up a couple of big commits late, especially from out of state. They
flipped a 5-star receiver.
Flipped a 5-star receiver who was committed to USC.
Yeah, it was a USC.
Yeah, they did well, and I also thought, you take a look across the recruiting landscape. I thought that a couple of the classes that really stood out to me. I think that Houston, the first full class under Willie Fritz, showed up pretty well. I was impressed by that.
They jumped up like 5 or 6 spots, I think, in the conference rankings.
Yeah, that felt like they closed pretty strong,
which was pretty big considering that they lost their defensive coordinator literally the day before.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's an excellent point. And then I added in Baylor. Baylor was a team that was, I think, really floundering there, but obviously the success on the field has helped things. And it feels like they closed pretty strong in the final couple months as well.
I agree with that. I still feel like, and I kind of have now, as I've been doing media and stuff in the wake of National Signing Day, I feel like we're sleeping on TCU's class. Mm-hmm. They finished in the top 25. They finished a little bit better than what we had Tech's class rated in 2023, 2024. Mm-hmm. And we were really all over Tech's class in 2024.
True enough.
TCU was a little bit slightly better than them, but we didn't, I feel like, give them enough credit. And SMU finishing in the top 30 for the first time ever, transitioning to the ACC, a Power 4 conference, making it into the college football playoffs this year. I think sky's the limit for what Lashley is doing on the Hilltop, and their class was really good this year, and I think matches the production that we've seen on the field. Their recruiting class matches that. So those are two of the classes that I feel like just kind of went under the radar.
Yeah, the guy who is the class of Dave Campbell's Texas football, he's Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here. Follow him on Twitter, G Powers Scouts. He's fine work at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Thanks, Powers.
Appreciate that.
Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts. See if anybody's got any questions.
This one we might not know off the top of the head, but what district had the most D1 signings?
My guess would be 11-6A.
Yeah, for sure.
23-6A might have something to say about it.
Yeah, North Shore and
Yeah.
Atascocita. Yeah,
I know DeSoto had 8 on early signing period day. They tweeted out a photo.
Yeah, I feel like Duncanville also
probably gonna
tips the scales
Keelan Russell
to a certain degree of like depth, but Lancaster's really loaded,
Mhm.
right? Mesquite Horn had a couple of dudes.
Lamont Rogers.
Yeah, so that district is just top to bottom.
Probably 11. My guess is 11-6A, but we can dive into the numbers and figure it out for sure.
Yeah, I would hedge my bets towards that, unless it was like outside. If you're talking about signings, maybe outside of D1. But I think the question was D1, right?
Yeah, D1.
Yeah,
I would say
I'm going
probably
11. I'm going 11-6A. I'm calling it. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody can overtake it.
Okay, that's fine. What's next?
What happens to guys who enter the portal and aren't selected? Are they just out of football at that point?
I'll ask Greg Powers.
Well, I mean, if no one takes you, then you got to find a spot to walk on
Yeah, you gotta walk
or
on.
get a job.
Because basically, yeah, exactly. Because the thing is that like those are when you enter the portal, you are asking somebody to offer. I mean, I know we talk about NIL, but basically what you're doing is you're asking somebody to offer you a scholarship.
Right.
You got to think of it as like reopening your recruitment. You know what I mean? And so if you go out there in the same way that like I played high school football and nobody offered me, I just stopped playing football.
It's a risk. I mean, I think if you dive into the data, it's close to a 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I think about 50% of the players who enter the portal don't find a team.
Yeah, there is. And so there are guys who are just out of football. There are guys who like very quietly sign with like a Division II or Division III or somewhere like that because they just want to keep playing football. But a lot of those guys just like go to be students and stop playing football. So yeah, it does happen a fair amount. We don't talk a ton about it because we really focus on the high profile guys, right? The Micah Hudsons of the world. Somebody's going to sign Micah Hudson, right? Yep. But we don't focus on the guy who is maybe like the backup left tackle at Louisiana Tech who enters the portal and nobody picks him up. He might end up at like a place like Alabama A&M or something like that, but very quietly. So there's a handful of that.
I can't find data on the fly. I don't want to be. I hated to throw like a percentage out there because you could be absolutely wrong when you drop a percentage on air, like it's 50%. I don't want to say I'm not going to get caught on that 50% number. I'm going to go ahead and retract it and then say it is a risk.
Yes,
I want people to know
non-zero
that it's
number.
a risk when you enter the transfer portal. There's a higher rate of guys not making it than what you would expect.
Correct. Yes, you're absolutely right. Got any more?
Yep.
Okay.
Which Greg would win if both Gregs arm wrestled?
Powers.
Well,
Yes. Yes.
My father was a state champion arm wrestler. So, I mean,
Every time I think this guy can't get cooler, he gets cooler.
How am I just now finding out that you've got state championship arm wrestling in your blood?
they don't do like high school sports, but like semi-professional, professional, amateur, professional, whatever it was. My dad was pretty good, so I grew up like around arm wrestling, like so I know the techniques of the.
What's the name of the arm wrestling movie?
Over the Top, man.
Over the Top.
I had to watch this stuff. My dad arm wrestled some of the people that were in it.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So we watched Over the Top. The referee at the end that does like the big final match, the guy, like he knew that guy, like I think he was also from Ohio, and like they were running in the arm wrestling circles back in the day. So yeah, Over the Top.
So
with it.
You thought that you were screwed. You're like,
oh, I mean, I thought
you're toast.
I thought I was. Look, I thought I was done because I am not as strong as Greg Powers.
No, you're like roadkill.
I'm now also not as technically proficient as Greg
Dude,
Powers.
my sisters can go and beat men at arm wrestling. Like, it's funny just because you know little tricks. There's not a lot of tricks. There are some. There are definitely some that give you a market advantage. But my sisters are pretty good at it. They have beat some of my friends and stuff at arm wrestling. Whenever I've watched it, it's been pretty embarrassing for those guys. Sorry, fellas.
That's such a good party trick.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, Pickle, you're, the guns, the cannons.
Cannons.
You know what I mean?
Look at these.
I don't.
It's hard to get bigger than those.
I don't mess with Pickle. I think everybody knows that.
No one does.
Like that, yeah, you don't pick a fight. That it?
Yep.
Okay, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to J.J. Johnson, head coach of the Oakwood Panthers, and to Greg Powers for being our guests. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.